Welcome to the Bay State Golf Podcast. I'm Sean Melia. I have two regulars on here. I've got Jed Mahler and Paul Burke. We're talking majors for the last 25 years. We're going to be here for 4.5 to 5 hours, guys. I hope your batteries are charged and everything's ready to go. Welcome.
Yeah, what a pleasure to be part of this three-man crew. I mean, 4.5 to 5 hours seems kind of light. I thought you were going for, a little bit like more of a normal PGA Tour round of 6 hours, but it's good to be here.
Anyone with a transatlantic flight might be able to fit this one in, squeeze it in between Boston and England.
Bookmark this one. Yeah.
So I've had this on my mind probably since the last major was played. What was it? 10 months ago, the British Open, the Open Championship, the way the season is set up now. And I just wanted to, I don't know. I like little markers, 25 years, 10 years. I thought it would be fun to just do a draft. Jed, you're a little on you watched a lot of pro golf. We talk a lot about golf. We don't talk a lot about pro golf anymore. Burke, you're so deep into it. So we're going to draft at of the last 25 years, the most important shots in major championship golf, 2000 to 2025. Important can be whatever you want. If you read our text chain, you might see that some of us had a hard time just wrapping our head around what the most important means. Influential, consequential, meaningful to you as a person, funny, whatever it is. That's what we're going to do today.
Yeah, hand up. I probably asked 50 clarifying questions. Initially, I thought we were picking majors, and then it's major shots, and then I was thinking about major moments and how to differentiate between that. But then it's just this potpourri of unbelievable content the last 25 years that you can get yourself going for anywhere. I mean, not to put the cart before the horse, but we could have done our top 5 major shots at Valhalla alone. And that course stinks. They have legitimately some of the most memorable shots in the last 25 years. There's a lot to choose from. So this exercise I found myself, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. So literally all day today, I would be running around and I had my phone up and be like, nope, check this, check. And I just had this running list. I've got a ton. Jed, I don't know how you did it, but
yeah, I think it was tough because most important means a lot of different things. I sent that on the text today. It's are we thinking most memorable or most important for the win, right? There's so many different ways to do it. But if I started to just try to pull out in terms of overall context. So I think there's those important shots that won a tournament, but then if you pull it back a little bit and look at their entire career and what they did after, and yeah, it was a fascinating process to go through. One, I would say it made me feel really old because 25 years, I'm that wasn't that long ago. But I'm oh my gosh, it was. But also that the 20 teens, it's I remember those better than some of the ones in the last few years, which I also think speaks to golf and the directions it's heading. And that's not a good thing. But it was a fascinating process to kind of recalibrate what I remembered and what was important.
What was your process, Berkey? How did you get your list started? How did you beat the white page?
I just wrote a few down that I thought. I actually started with the majors that I remembered the most, and then thought about certain shots, and then as you sort of massage the memory, everything kind of flows from there. So there are a few specific majors that I have in my mind that if you were to ask me what are the most impactful majors over the past 25 years, I would rattle off pretty quickly. But then when you think about shots, they sort of dovetail off of those, and you think about moments. And so you really, I felt like it was more of a process than a reactionary what are your favorite majors, because so much comes to mind. And I'm telling you, in the last 2 hours I've probably added 20 different shots to the list that I had, because oh my god, that was awesome too. And some aren't in the final round, and some didn't result in the win, and all of those things. And so I started from the most memorable majors, which is probably the same list that all the basics have. and went from there. So I don't know. There was nothing formulaic about it.
Jed, how about you?
Yeah, so I did quick, like, close my eyes. What could I think of? And that had some. But where it really helped was I just printed out a list of all major winners over the last 25 years, year by year. And then what helped too was printing out or mentioning where the tournament was played, because that jogged a lot of memories too. As soon as I saw where the course was, and I was like,
But
oh,
do you think venues matter?
Depends on who you ask, but yeah. That was all part of the process, but like, yeah, you look at it too. I mean, before we get into it, like how bad coverage has held up from like the early 2000s. I mean, the same thing like Red Sox World Series, right? Like you can barely watch it. Like it's such a shame that some of these, going back and looking at some of these tournaments, these iconic moments they look like the 87 Masters is clearer than, because it was shot on film, it's clearer than some of these iconic tournaments not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that was another,
especially like that window of like pre HD TV, where you get stuff that's just not good.
Well, especially in the British Open, like that early 2000s footage is awful. Like I thought the Masters held up pretty well looking back at it. But the others, it was. I agree with you, Jed.
And speaking of old, Jed's printing
process?
stuff out. Jed's just printing things out. Speaking of being the old guy,
it's that ChatGPT, baby.
And so I sat down with a piece of paper and I kind of went through and just like vomited out the ones that stuck out to me right away. And it came from like events. It came from, obviously you think about like the players who were consequential for the last 25 years. So you've got, you're going to write down stuff that Tiger did. You're going to write down stuff that Phil did. You're going to write down stuff that Rory did. And then you might
Cabrera.
Right. The big names. And then you start to filter through, and there's like windows of time too, as I was doing this, that I realized like, man, there's some summers where I just didn't watch certain tournaments for whatever reason. And then there's other ones where I remember being like where I was for a specific event. I remember Harrington's first one. I was at Worcester Country Club, like in the bar. The British Open always matched up with the club championship. So everyone would play in the morning and then like spend the afternoon watching the British Open finish. And then there's other ones that I have no idea where I was. I definitely missed them. I was either like, you're traveling or you're with family. Like even the US Open sometimes gets lost in the shuffle for me because it was Father's Day. So anyways, but wrote down just a list and then kind of went through some transcripts and like try to find interviews of guys talking about some of these shots. I think for 5 rounds, and then we can kind of like go deep, but I think 5 rounds, that's 50. If we're going to pick 15 shots, we should have a pretty good, like, that's going to be a pretty good encapsulation of what I think is the last 25 years of the majors. And then we can maybe throw out some other ones that we like, some undrafted free agents at the end. So the way we're going to do this is, so the rules, I guess like the strict rules are, you got to pick a shot. And then someone else can pick a shot from that major. It doesn't like close out the major. So if you've got another shot from the 25 Masters that you think is more important than one that someone else picked, you can pick that. So it doesn't close out the major.
That's not going to be on your list. We know that's off.
And
so let's say someone drafts a shot from, it's a different shot but same major, right? But the next person isn't necessarily in the draft order. Do they speak about said shot, or do they wait until the draft order to, like, because we're already talking about the major, do we mention it then, or just wait because you got to wait for your draft?
I guess that's up to you. You can't draft it, but maybe it comes up in conversation. And
I'll be honest with you, I have so many here. If one of my shots comes up in one of your other majors, I think it's just going to come up in conversation, and I'll just go in a different direction.
Yeah, you can pick someone else. I mean, when they're showing film on ESPN for the draft, they've got linemen blocking for the running backs, and sometimes those linemen are getting picked, or the running backs getting picked. The way we're going to do the draft, we're going to do a snake, and the first pick will go to the person who's played a round of golf outside most recently, and the second pick will go to second most recently, and the third will go to the guy who hasn't played golf in the longest amount of time. I've got November 7th was my last round of golf.
Way.
Yeah.
You're that long.
Yeah. Berlin Country Club, 9 holes. That's the last time I played golf outside.
I'm November 8th. November 8th, we had Indian Ridge's beef stew.
Okay, Jed.
I cracked December 7th.
Yeah,
was closing day.
Yeah, that Plymouth membership. Is that where you played?
Yeah, it was the last day it was open. Went down to say goodnight.
Yeah. So Jed, you got first pick. Burke's got second pick. I've got the third pick, and I got the fourth pick, and we'll snake.
What an honor! All right. So it's like this is a tough thing because I don't even want I think this was literally one of the most important shots, but I don't even really like it in the whole thing. But I think it deserves a top billing. So in the number one draft for most important shot, going to the iconic Pebble Beach 2000 U.S. Open, Tiger Woods. But do we know what shot it is? This is a little wrinkle.
So my guess, because I had a couple on here for that, his par save to keep in the last round, I think he had a par save on 16 where he gave a fist pump, and everyone's like, what the hell is he, like, what's he doing? And his goal for that day was to not have a bogey.
Fantastic answer, but that's not it.
The seven iron he hit on 6 out of the rough onto the green.
We're going Saturday morning in the carryover delay. He's finishing the second round. Only has he has 2 golf balls. Hooks it into the water on 18.
So good.
Only has 1 golf ball. Stevie doesn't tell him that he only has 1 golf ball. Tries to tell him to hit iron. He's like, no. And then, finds dry
second
land.
Round. It's Saturday, but it's the second round.
Correct. Yeah, they're finishing it. And he had more golf balls, but he was giving them away to kids. He left some in the hotel room. He's giving away some balls to kids on the way. So he has to play the final 6 holes. He's got 2 golf balls. And then he hooks it in the water on 18 and has to play 18 with 1 golf ball. So if he doesn't do that, Tiger had said that, he might be disqualified because he was playing a brand new Nike ball. And he would have had to get the same ball from his playing partner to finish, which they wouldn't have had. But then they said he could have gone and bought balls, but he would have gotten 2-shot penalty. So he still probably would have won, but who knows? So
that's a butterfly effect. That's an awesome pick.
So Steve Williams has told that story. There's a great podcast where he goes and talks about each of Tiger's majors that he caddied it for him. And Stevie Williams is also saying he was considering he would have had time to run back to the hotel because it was close enough the room was close enough. He could have gotten the 2 golf balls. Tiger was putting on the floor in the hotel the night before and just forgot to put the golf balls back in his bag as well. So, I mean, the thought of Stevie Williams running back to the hotel, hoping that the other 2 in the group would play slow enough that he could get back to Tiger is great. That's the number one pick. Everything could have gone a completely different way.
By the time
Tiger would have never won a major.
50, and it's still to me of all the Tiger at the time he set the scoring record at that tournament where the rest of the field had the highest scoring of in a U.S. Open, and it's just preposterous how good that was.
Yeah. All with a solid core golf ball.
Yeah, the Vapor. I think it was Nike Tour Accuracy. Sorry, that was Nike Tour Accuracy. Yeah. That was the ball.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right.
No, he was playing a Titleist at that point. He was playing a Titleist, wasn't he?
2000?
Not on the research that
he was playing a
team
put
together.
Okay.
I know this one's going to go off the board.
He just put it into play. Yeah, because they had said
right,
yeah, it was the whole thing. Yeah, a little wrinkle to the greatest.
So
most important shot.
I know this one's just going to go off the board so quickly, so I have to take it. But I'll start with a question, sort of how Jed did. What do golfers love to do the most in general? Not what shot do they love to hit the most, but what do golfers love to do the most?
They love to tell you about their round when it's done. They love to talk to you about your round, give you shot for shot.
Similar to that, golfers love to complain, right? They'll tell you, I should have had.
That's where I was going.
Yeah. So what would we have if we didn't have Jimmy Walker's brilliant 4-foot par putt in 2016 at the PGA at Baltusrol? we would not have the ability to complain about the worst major of the last 25 years. So my first pick is Jimmy Walker's 4-foot slider that encapsulated the absolute most dog shit major of the last 25 years. And by the way, the fact that it is so far and away that arguably makes it that important because we love to complain about it.
I love it. I love it. That's why people tune in right there for that type of insight. That's awesome. I love it.
So not to brag or boast, I was at Baltusrol in June this year, and man, it's so funny seeing like all the history in that place, and you've got like Jack scorecards and all this stuff, and then you've got this display of Jimmy Walker's bag and his caddy's bib, and you're like, oh man, what a bummer of a major that was.
Put that to the side.
No, it is prominently displayed when you walk into the locker room.
But I do think that golfers love to complain, and it's the easy whipping boy. And if we didn't have it, what would we have? So, Jimmy Walker, who was actually like a really good freaking player.
Yeah, he was.
Was he at second stage this year or something? Like he was going back to Q school.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, yep, yeah. All right, well,
I laid you up.
I mean, you guys left me
it was great.
Like LeBron on third pick here.
Red meat.
Maybe Jason Tatum. This is my Jason Tatum pick here. How can you not talk about 2009 Open Championship at Turnberry with Tom Watson standing in the 18th fairway, ready to win a major championship, only to hit it just too good, flushed it, makes bogey, goes to a playoff, and then like turned to a pumpkin, for lack of a better way. I mean, I think he made it 2 doubles, and Stewart Cink just could have played lefty and won that playoff. And becomes like Burke, you were talking about complaining. It's kind of the same thing where it's poor Stewart Cink wins and people just complain about the fact that he won a major and stole possibly what would have been the best story of this 25-year stretch of major golf. And like people don't, I mean, they talk about it, it comes up, but it's almost like it's got buried so deep because they just, it was almost not too painful, but it was so hard to watch.
His birdie putt on 18 goes very under appreciated that he made, like a 15-footer from the back of the green. Like his approach shot rolled through, almost went over. But yeah, I mean, that was a gimme. I mean,
yeah,
and that shot was so good that Watson hit it too.
I know, and it's also like one of those golf finds.
Oh wait, hold on. What shot did we? What shot?
The shot is the 8. There's the shot into 18 that took that crazy bounce and went long.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as golf goes, finds your weakness. And like Tom Watson over his entire career has been a shaky, like 4 to 6 foot putter, and he
actually hit like a really good third shot too.
It wasn't the birdie putt was from the back.
No, it was in the rough. He was in like the thick stuff, and he used his putter, and he kind of
because he's 59 years old.
It was the right play.
Yeah.
So I looked at, obviously, because I had that on my draft board as well. But I mean, I can't remember another tournament that I was at. I didn't even like Tom Watson that much, but I was rooting for him. Like every day, because that first day he's 1 shot behind, then he leads after the second round and after the third round. And I remember I was in my buddy's wedding that whole weekend. So like it was all, and we played college golf together. So it was all like, we were all watching it. And then I just remember being so hungover on Sunday after the wedding, but just being so locked in and watching every shot. And then I have him hit the, quote unquote perfect shot where he flushed it. And he even said he hit it right where he wanted to. And then to lose that.
It's
brutal. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He was 59. I would have thought he was like 65. Like it just like now that we're older, 59 doesn't seem that crazy, but it just seemed like he was ancient out there doing it, and that was a heartbreaker. That putt, that 7-footer to win for par on 18. That's the stroke that gives you nightmares. Like we've all done that decel. It was so bad. That's the thing. I went back and started watching. I couldn't watch it. It was awful.
He was basically tapping in as it was coming to rest because he knew he was decelerating into it.
Yeah, I think he almost misses the one because he's just trying to get off the trying to get off the golf course.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Jed, to your point, and Sean, you might have made this earlier, but that is, top 3 for me moments where I remember where I was. I was watching with my parents. I remember the seat I was sitting in, and my dad, who's like grew up like as like about the same age as Tom Watson, and so like he's watching all of this happen, and he's like, I cannot, like, he's going apoplectic. I barely had ever seen him like this.
Yeah.
Watching a golf tournament. So yeah, that is, it's still an amazing golf tournament. Like, he should have won. He should.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Yeah. And Jed, you nailed it too. He's of the generation that anyone who was our age, you didn't really like follow him. The only, I don't know, like maybe through some like, he was a Ryder Cup captain in the early 90s. Like, I didn't really know who Tom Watson was, just because he was a legend.
He was also a
and,
captain
won.
after that too.
And he was a captain after that too. And that didn't go very well. But yeah, like it just returned. It kind of created this like cool return to looking back at like how good he was. He won 5 Open championships. He would have won 6. He was like and the fact that he was doing it in the place where he was a hero, and it would have been like in that part of the world would have been maybe one of the biggest sporting days like ever. Is a bummer. Does anyone come close? Is there someone else who does what he did?
So I think yes, because people are so fit now.
Yeah, like someone who's 59 or 60 having a chance to win.
That's where
those courses aren't long enough.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And that's where I was going. And that's where my thought went on the 59 is really not that old, right? Like Phil, was 50, 51, 50 when he won. And so it definitely seems like if they get on the right course, it can be possible. And who knows what's going to be on with technology and everything else. But the fact that he really was playing a different type of game than everyone else during that time. So one of the interesting things I'd seen was he was putting crappy earlier in the week, and then he found this little putting tip, and then he putted unbelievable. And then it was obviously disappeared there on 18. But then it was he played the British Senior the next week and putted awful. So if anything, it encapsulates golf so much. Like, he's lost at sea, finds one little tip in his head, plays unbelievable. It's he doesn't even want the shot back on 18 because he thinks he hit it perfect, and then it just doesn't work out. It's just brutal.
Also, do you remember who his caddy was?
No. Was it LaCava?
No, it wasn't even his normal caddy. It was his financial advisor.
Oh,
he didn't bring his normal caddy over, and he has like the guy giving him stock tips. He was like, he won a caddy for me, like he's his good buddy, like it's one last run around Turnberry. And like what we haven't mentioned is like it's the site of probably his most iconic win, at least in the Open Championship, if not, obviously his Pebble win was pretty awesome, but.
And it's the last time they've had a tournament there. Like, it hasn't been back since, which is also crazy. And
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of his like famous caddy who had ALS and passed away. Was he still alive? Bruce Edwards. Was he still alive in 09, or he had already passed?
No, he was gone.
Which is like another layer of this whole thing.
Yeah,
and so it's a great trivia question, which I don't know off the top of my head. I think I know the guy's first name, but do you know who he was paired with in the final round? Was it Ed?
Oh no, I don't. Like in that last round in 2009?
Yeah, at Turnberry.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was like David Goggins or like some Aussie. It was a very random, and I'm not looking it up. I've got too many screens open right now. But it was some random person. I
would say that weighed into some of my thinking too. Like, if this person doesn't win, like who was going to win, and how crappy of a major that would that have been?
Yeah.
I think Westwood missed like a 5-foot putt on 18 for par or birdie that would have got him into the playoff.
Of course he did. All right, my next pick, we gotta include Jordan Spieth here, 2016 Masters. His first penalty shot that he hit dead into the water. So not his tee shot, takes a drop, dumps it in the water, goes on to allow Danny Willett to win. Would have been his second Masters. He's won 4 since. But I think that shot now looking.
He's won 4 since.
I was kidding. Now looking back on that and that stretch of golf he played is insane. And he led like 8 straight rounds of the Masters.
It was 7.
It was 7.
He led seven straight, so it would have been 8 if he closed it out. And he was second, won the 3 years prior to that.
Yeah.
Like
he very easily could have won in 2014 against Bubba.
Yeah.
Very easily.
And so I went back and looked at the transcript from this. And first off, he finished Saturday night very nervously. He played 6, 17, and 18 3 over par. And before he left the grounds, he asked Cameron McCormick to come back, and they were doing some work. And he got asked, when you left the grounds yesterday, why did you feel you needed to get Cam back here? And he said, when you worked this morning, what was your confidence level? Jordan said, it was much better. I didn't ask for him. He texted me and said, hey, would you like it if I came back? I said, sure, it can only help me if he's here. And he likes for me to be self-reliant. But at the same time, the wheels kind of came off the last 3 holes on Saturday. And I think he felt that just his voice would bring my confidence back into my swing. And it certainly did. And he knew it was wrong. And he knew that if he were here watching shots on the range, it would make a difference. And it did. My confidence going into the first hole was fantastic. But listen, I had my B- game, tee to green, and I made up for it around the greens with my putter. Ultimately, you just have to have your A game every single part. And I just didn't have those iron swings as it showed on the back 9. So that's what he said after his loss. So bad Saturday. There was just something brewing. And that
he
kind
had
of
a 5-shot lead. You don't need your A game with a 5-shot lead going into the back 9. He imploded. And I would say, if I'm talking about the importance of that shot, it's more on the negative side that we have to have Danny fucking Willett in our lives for the next
that's the butterfly effect, right? Yeah, there's the butterfly effect.
This guy sucks. His wife was yelling at Americans and all this stuff on Twitter, or brother or something.
The brother was a
God,
character. Yeah.
This is the worst part. We've seen plenty of collapses, especially at that venue, and Spieth had already won one. But the fact that we have to have Danny Willett, that is, to me, that's why that's
butterfly effect. Butterfly effects are, we have Spieth winning his 3rd major in the last 5 majors, and at that point being I think maybe 4 people in those 5 majors had beaten him, because he finished 2nd in the PGA in 15. He finished 3rd in the Open Championship and missed out on a playoff at 15. No one was beating him in majors, and then this happens. He wins the Open in 17, and now he's just kind of lost in the wilderness. He's probably going to retire with 3 majors. And you could look back and man, he could have won 4 in that stretch of 5 majors. It's crazy. So that's my 4th, and then we go back to Burke.
All right. After my attempt at humor in the first one, I will go very chalk, deservedly so. Tiger's putt, 2008 U.S. Open, Torrey to get into a playoff. Just I don't know. I mean, you look at that video over and over again. The greens were so bumpy. He had to lay up. He hit his lob wedge onto the green from 90 yards. It looked like he took cabbage out. Everything that major was. I remember I was working on a trading floor at the time. The Monday playoff, the last 18-hole playoff we'll ever see. I forget the exact numbers, but I think trading year over year was down 25% on the American stock exchanges from the previous Monday of that year, the same Monday of the previous year. It was. I don't know. So much gets said about it. I don't need to say much more, but it needs to be. It's crazy. Guy had a freaking broken leg.
Yeah, yeah. And now, 17 years
and
later,
I could have picked a million shots from that tournament too. If I do the Eagles coming home on Saturday, Stevie having to literally pick him up. After one of his chip-ins. I mean, there were so many, but the whole thing.
It all led
again,
to that
you could have
putt.
done a podcast, and people have. So
yeah, and then he only wins one more after
like,
that too, right? He gets one more major. He's won one since that major. So if he doesn't make that putt, Rocco Mediate's another one. It's like Rocco Mediate U.S. Open champ.
That would have been cool though. I would have liked a little Rocco in the mix. That was I was rooting for him. But that meets like the iconic standard, right? So when we were talking about moments, like that's one you all think of, and yeah, I mean, it definitely deserves to be up there.
Jed, this might be a good time before you make your pick to. Do you want to talk about your like complicated Tiger Woods rooting interest as a young man before 2008, leading up to 2008? We've discussed this. I don't know if you want to divulge. Just you said you were rooting for Rocco. That's what made me think of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird dynamic where I liked him. Then I was rooting for Steve Scott in the last USAM. Then was rooting for him, rooting for him in '97 and everything else. And then I just thought he was a dick. And we could do a whole podcast on like the times he didn't shake the guy's hand after, and just, it's just little stuff like that drove me crazy for that time. But I mean, I'm super fortunate and feel thankful I got to watch one of the greatest players ever during that time. So I'm like thankful for all the memories. But yeah, a lot of that I wasn't necessarily rooting for him. Wasn't a huge fan at the time. Now, if he makes a comeback, am I going to root for him again? Yeah, but I mean, it all depends. He's a different guy now than he was. But I told you like, nah, you got me all going, Sean. But I told you like one of the moments, like when it was over the 25 majors, I thought of Tiger interview where he's talking about how his finger popped out and he just popped it back in.
It was his wrist. It's not even his finger, his wrist. He popped his wrist.
And then like, was it Tom Verducci or whoever's interviewing him, like, really? He's like, yeah, it was a big deal. Just like popped it back in. I think that was that 2015, I think, when Jordan wins. But just that sums it up. Like, oh, Tiger, how'd you go? And he's like, oh, I just popped some bones back in while I was out there. So that
McAtee. It was Bill McAtee. I think it was McAtee.
Yeah.
I could see like Bill McAtee being like, really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, really? And then they just gloss over it. Oh, wow. What a pain threshold. What a warrior. Like,
physically impossible for you to break your wrist.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and by the way, like, and this is and I think you were sort of alluding to this, Jed. It's a bigger sports conversation. Like, I kind of root for Laundry, especially as you get older. You realize that a lot of these guys might not be the best guys. So it's just like,
especially golfers. Golfers stick around. You might know a golfer for 40 years, right? I mean, think about Tom Watson being 59. That guy was playing golf when he was 20.
Yeah.
There's little things like I think one of the first times he went to Augusta, and they were like, "Oh, how was it driving in?" And he's like, "Oh, that wasn't a big deal." Just like it just wasn't giving you what you're looking for. But yeah, anyways,
I do think that he is. Again, we shouldn't. I mean, I'm sure Tiger's going to come up again, but I think that mindset is part of why he was like so freaking good.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah. I mean, you got to be a robot. Like you have to shut yourself out to so much stuff to be good at this game.
All right, Jed, your pick.
All right. So I don't know if it's in order, but just because we had just talked about it, I am going back to 2016 Masters with Jordan Spieth, but it's a different shot. It's his second shot on 10 because he had just made 4 birdies in a row coming off that front. So I think most people remember he had a 5-shot lead, but after coming off 4 in a row, I think there's a little bit of, did he blow his load kid show, but how much does he have left? Now you got to make the turn and you're 5 up. On 10, he kind of fans his drive and he has 200 in the even on the telecast, like, oh, he's well back. I think he had 202 yards in on 10 from like the right rough, like downhill. And he leaves it in the bunker and he makes bogey. And at that exact same time, Willett makes birdie. So his 5-shot lead went to 3 by the time he gets to 11. I think for anyone that plays golf, has tried to hold on lead, all of a sudden when it goes 5-3 in a blink of an eye, you're like, 3 now feels like nothing, right? 3 is like you're tied. Then he bogeys 11. So by the time he gets to 12, he's already pretty shaky because he's just given 2 back and missed some putts. And I think, there's moments in a round where you're trying to hold it together or keep it going. Like if he hits a flush shot on 10, I think a lot of the stuff downstream takes care of itself. I think between the kind of weak drive and that missing that shot on 10, it just ended up leading to 12. So I just went further back, and I think that shot on 10 was the one that really started the crack that floodgates opened after that.
10 at Augusta is such an interesting hole. I think about like the shot Rory hit this past year where he dropped the club, and the way the shot you have to hit off that slope, the moment in time in the golf tournament where you're either like in the dogfight, you got 11 coming up, you're already thinking ahead a little bit. I mean, that shot it's so hard, and it just becomes.
I mean, when you said Rory at 10, I thought you were going in a completely different direction.
Oh well, that's another one. I was thinking about the second shot mainly. Yeah. But like the nerves really start to, I think, amp up when you kind of walk down that hill and you got to hit that shot up to that green.
Masters has such a advantage in this whole little game we're playing too, because
it's
you just know the holes.
And so I'm like looking at my list, and I don't have them in any particular order because there's so many, and I'm trying to like avoid the basic ones. So I'm going to go a little bit off kilter here.
Doesn't Jed have another pick? He's got 2 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry,
no,
Jed. I didn't mean to cut you. Not familiar with or not adept.
He's on the clock. You can jump in
right.
1 minute.
So all right. So I had the Watson one, so I'm trying to figure out and this is more of a theme of what we've been talking about. I'm going 2019 Masters, not Tiger Woods.
Are you going Francesco?
12th hole, Frankie Red Sauce.
Was that going to be the one you picked? That was next?
I was going Francesco. I was like, everyone's going to pick Tiger. I'm going Molinari. By the way, I was going Molinari on 15. I don't know if you're going on 12.
I'm going on 12 because he had a 2-shot lead. He had that's the other thing that people, everyone was falling apart. And I remembered he dunked it, and I thought he was in the lead because I just watched the whole thing not too long ago. And 2-shot lead going into 12. Says he hit the right shot, but obviously didn't work out. And
but
then
his shot on 15, so I mean, shot on 15, I'm not going to pick it now, but that was so much, that was a chunked wedge from 80 yards that he just barely made it over the front of the water. And the other thing about that tournament, everyone remembers Tiger winning, but it was Easter morning. They moved the tee times up, so it was threesomes. People were teeing off the back it was such a mind fuck of a tournament. And whenever they say this stat, I think they said it last year, for this past Masters, they were like, well, this is the highest rated Masters since the 2017 or whatever. It's pre-2019 because they didn't have the ratings that year because of the time that it was on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I sort of stole you said it.
No. And so we were thinking the same thing. I was just trying to, figure out where that really cracked. And he had made some solid strokes and was putting well and doing some good things. And then once he did that, the wheels started really coming off. But I mean, he was so solid. And to talk about the butterfly effect and what have you done after that? He won the British the year before.
Huge.
And
beating Tiger.
Beating Tiger. They were in the same group that Sunday. Yeah.
That's the other thing about that. They made such a big deal about what a comeback 2019 was for Tiger. He was a legitimately good player going into that. Between the British, he won the Tour Championship right at the end of the prior year. So I always thought that it was a little over. He was already coming back. He was already there. So it wasn't like Watson or anything.
Bellerive too. And Brooks wins Bellerive, Molinari wins the Open, and they both hit the ball in the water on 12. At Augusta in 19. So did Finau. That was everyone hit in the water.
And Poulter too.
And Poulter.
Poulter was right there. Also, I have literally 6 shots listed from the 2019 Masters. Brooks left his putt short in the hole for birdie to tie. He hit this awesome second shot, and I think he ended up going slightly back. He basically, if he hit it a little harder, he would have tied.
Yeah, with Tiger in the fairway. Tiger's in the fairway watching him hit that putt. Right? That he was in the group ahead of him.
So I don't know. Tiger was barely in the fairway on the right, and he hits this shank right layup that leaves him this 40 yard, because he knows he's got a 2-shot lead on 18.
Yep.
And this layup, nobody knew whether he was going for the green or not, and he leaves himself this brutal 30-yard chip.
Yeah,
he hits I don't know, 15 feet, but it was not an inspiring. Whatever, it was inspiring, but
it wasn't a loud finish. It was not a loud finish for sure. All right, Berkey, now you gotta regroup here.
All right, So I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go off of people that we've talked about. Actually, I guess we've kind of talked about it. I'm gonna go back to 2013 U.S. Open at Marion. Phil had the lead, and the 15th hole, or the whatever the par three is, maybe it's 13. It was a wedge, and he airmailed it and made double bogey, and ended up losing by one to Justin Rose. Obviously, Justin Rose had some cool shots coming in, but like that wedge shot that he misdialed, and Phil, who like championships aside, in a weird twist of fate, is the greatest U.S. Open player of our time.
Yeah. I mean, it's him or Tiger. I mean, Tiger won 3 of them.
So yeah, maybe Tiger aside, but like 6 U.S. Open runner-ups is pretty ridiculous. And you could pick from your U.S. Open Phil shots that you want to choose from. But to me, that one he had like as much so, if not more, in his hands than Winged Foot. And that wedge shot that he airmailed that led to a double. I will always remember that.
That is a major I have zero memory of.
But it also led to Justin Rose winning his only major. Now he's come very close, and so like a little bit of sliding doors. Phil could be on the, have the career Grand Slam. Justin Rose could be majorless.
Did Phil?
So
Phil won that Open.
I actually remember
that year too, right? Was that the third? Did Phil win the 13 and beat Stenson?
He lost.
He lost.
He beat like who did he beat in 2013? Like Westwood was up there.
Yeah. Okay, so he bounced back and wins.
But yeah, it was the next major that he came back and won.
Yeah. I have no memory. That Marion U.S. Open, I don't know where I was or what I was doing, but I was not watching that tournament. Don't remember any of it. It's very strange. It's a total black hole.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a cool. I'm excited they're going back there. I think it's a cool golf course for them. Obviously, the rough was ridiculous, but yeah, I don't know. Like for Phil had that tournament.
USAM this year too. USAM's at Marion this year. Yeah, a little preview. Should be good. Good contrast with the golf balls too. Watch those guys and then watch the pros maybe with a rollback ball. Anything else on that major? Sorry, interrupted.
No, it was just like I remember that one as much as I do Winged Foot. I was trying to pick a Phil like U.S. Open failure, and that one was like kind of goes under the radar because of what happened at Winged Foot and Pinehurst, which was outside of the window of this exercise. But
yeah. All right, we got to talk about Dustin Johnson. In the Whistling Straits shot he hits from the waist area / bunker in 2010, finishes the hole and learns that he had grounded his club in a bunker that he did not think was a bunker after a week of them all being told everything is a bunker. Misses out on the playoff, and Martin Keimer wins. Another like weird. I mean, the guy's got two mates.
DJ Singh.
It was him and it was Bubba Watson was in that. I think it was just Bubba. It was Keimer and Bubba, and DJ gets the penalty, and he wins by a shot, and then gets a 2-stroke penalty and gets even just bumped out of the playoff. Like he doesn't even get a chance to try to redeem himself.
Nick Watney was playing with him, right? Watney was there.
He was in that group. Yep. And I went back and just watched, and DJ said there were thousands of people standing up on that hill, Gatorade bottles, beer cans, cups, trash, everything sitting around my ball. I never once thought I was in a bunker. I never even thought I was in the sand. To me, I thought it was dirt.
Wasn't there official right there too, or something like that?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, because he was like, they had to clear everyone out. It was like a scene to get to his ball because he hit it so far offline.
It's
like perfect DJ. It's perfect.
Yeah, they had made a point on that telecast that all sand were bunkers. Like they had talked about it on air during the week, which I think is funny that they pressed that with us, but then who knows how much they actually informed the players, right? It's DJ, so who knows how much information was retained in there. But unbelievable, wild scene, and it could only happen to DJ. But I'm pretty sure you're right. There's an official right there, like during that whole process. So to make that call was crazy.
Like DJ has no majors yet, has come close. Yeah. He's like the peak of his power. He's probably he'd be the best player not to have won a major at that point if you're having that conversation.
Would go to Chambers Bay and do what happened there, which might come up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was that was 2010, right? We're talking Whistling Straight.
Yep.
So that was the same as when he was way up at Pebble and then blew that lead super early in the last round. He was trying to hit a lefty and like in the
on 2,
That's
like he
right.
made like a triple
Yeah.
on
That's
2.
right.
Yeah.
So that
And
was all at the same. That was all happening at the same time too.
Yeah, and he
Crazy.
blew up at the Open Championship. I can't remember what year. He hit it OB like late on Sunday.
That was
Him and Ricky
Darren
Fowler.
Clark's.
So that was at St. George's. Okay, that's
He blasted one right on like a second shot at a par 5, I think.
yeah. All right, we're gonna go back to talk about Tiger for my next pick. Fourth round, opening the fourth round here. We're going to the 2013 Masters. We're going to go to the 15th hole. We're going to go to the wedge that he slams off the stick and the ensuing drop that happens, and maybe should have been disqualified. Ends up continuing to play. He was kind of like, we hadn't really seen Tiger at that. It was 2013. He's had that kind of weird stretch of 4 years. He was just rounding back into form, wearing a horrible bright yellow shirt.
Yeah. That disqualifying shit was awful. Everyone drops their ball next to the divot if they're hitting. No one drops it in their divot in the history of golf.
Well, how about contrasting rules between what we just talked about and this? But isn't there a quote where he says,
I have it here.
I
have a quote. I went back and I found the quote. He said, how hard is it that second shot on 15 after getting a bad break like that? That's what he was asked. He said, well, I went down to the drop area. That wasn't going to be a good spot because obviously it's into the grain. It's really grainy there. And it was a little bit wet. So it was muddy and not a good spot to drop. So I went to where I played it from, but I went 2 yards further back and I tried to take 2 yards off the shot of what I felt I hit. What insane.
2 yards is kind
and
of
that should land me short of the flag and not have it either.
He actually said 2 yards?
Yes, he said, so I went back to where I played it from, but I went 2 yards further back and I tried to take 2 yards off the shot of what I felt I hit. And that should land me short of the flag and not have to hit it either, have it hit either the flag or skip over the back. I felt that it was going to be the right decision to take 4 right there, and I did, and it worked out perfectly. He avoided disqualification because the error was discovered after he signed his card, but the committee reviewed it before the round ended. They used the now defunct Rule 33.7 to waive disqualification and apply the 2-stroke penalty instead. And he just kind of like, he was in the hunt. It's kind of one of those, just got neutered a little bit from a moment of Tiger.
I'm sure you went and watched that shot. If it doesn't hit the pin, that thing's snug.
Oh yeah, it's a tap in birdie, and he's on his way. And instead, he makes 6, 7, 8. I think he ends up making an 8 on that hole. So yeah, just a kind of one of those moments where people bring it up and it doesn't feel that important. Then you go back and look, and you're like, oh man, this just the timing of the year, like the year it was. He was back.
Yeah,
he was kind of back in the hunt again.
He became the number 1 player in the world that year.
I think that was right. That's when he was really and truly back for that like little stretch of, I don't know, like 13 through 19, where he had another good run. Obviously, some injuries in there too, but So that's my start of the 4th round pick. It's off to you, Burke.
I know this is so tough. We could have done just like Tiger the entire time. Okay, so I've already kind of done that theme. I will go to 2020 Harding Park, Morikawa's drive that he hit. By all accounts, probably not a great guy, but to me, that drive that he hit on 16 for eagle, especially given the timing of everything, there was like nothing going on. Everyone was just like dying for meaningful stuff. It was a sick major championship. You had Scheffler, Bryson, Matthew Wolff was in there. I'm probably missing like a couple guys.
Scottie.
I think I said Scottie.
Okay.
And like a venue that you're kind of like, this is going to be really cool, like Harding Park. This is awesome. I mean, we had the President's Cup there, a little bit prior, and I don't know, like to step on there as basically a college kid and hit that golf shot, which was just so perfect, and then make that putt. I don't know, like that at a time. Like, I'll remember exactly where I was. I was in like whatever. That will always stay. Like in the 2020 majors, obviously you've got the Winged Foot and you've got the DJ Masters, which should be just expunged from the record. That to me was a legit major. Like that tournament felt like the juice. I'll always remember that one.
You're just trying to get on Collin's good side. Is that what you're trying to do? Just trying
no,
to...
I don't like him at all. I actually think he's.
I mean,
whatever.
the fact that he might end his career with 2 majors and they're both like wrapped around COVID and no fans, it would be what a fascinating thing that would be. Same with.
I mean, Harding Park was probably like a normal college tournament for him. The fact that he won a British Open is like literally preposterous.
Yeah.
Like, it's but like when you talk about shots, like actual shots, like that won him a ridiculously competitive golf tournament at a time that was also really weird. And I don't know.
Yeah.
That just really has always stuck out to me.
Yeah. Could be like maybe the greatest, you could argue it's one of the greatest like par 4 tee shots in major championship history.
JJ Spawn also this year at Oakmont. That's another 17. Like that goes so under the radar with his putt, the putt that he made afterwards. He flagged that on 17.
Yeah. Yep.
And gave himself a very easy 2-putt birdie that allowed him to be able to make par on 18. Like that is just off the top of my head. But you don't have a lot of drivable holes that late in the round at majors.
Yeah. Yep. Jed, what you got?
What were you saying, Jed?
No, that's perfect. Going into what I was doing, I got 2016 Oakmont U.S. Open, Dustin Johnson's second shot into 18, which he flagged, right? So this has worked out well based upon what Sean had talked about as well. So he's blown majors, doesn't have any yet. He makes an unbelievable putt he actually knocks it like 4 feet by on 17, makes it coming back, which was huge. Stripes the drive on 18,
and those greens were like running 15 or 16 that week. Like they didn't have the rain they did this week or this year.
They were ridiculous, and so part of it was, will he be able to pull it off and hold it on? And don't forget, there's the random penalty, which he still doesn't even know if he's getting.
Yes,
it happened on the 5th hole. It happened on the 5th hole. He's on the 18th hole playing for his first major, or like to win his first major, and they still don't even know where they have it. But one of the sneaky things that I love about this shot is
hold on.
it was one
Just go back to the penalty. Like describe what the perceived penalty
ball
would have been.
Yeah, it was like, well, they ended up giving him a shot. So it was the ball moved on the putting green on the 5th hole. Right? And
his partner Westwood was like, nope, didn't move. Playing partner said it didn't move. He was like, I didn't see it move. And they like,
and then this is coming off the craziness at Whistling Straits, which we just talked about. So like these rules, I cannot imagine playing and not knowing what my lead is or what I have going on. But one of the, I think, awesome things about that shot is it was one of the first years that they had shot tracer from the fairway. And so that he's 192 or so. He hit 6-iron, which like how often do these guys ever have to hit 6-iron into holes anymore, right?
Or fives.
And when it was one of the first shots I thought about when Shawnee threw out like what were the best shots in the last 25 years, but it's because I remember the shot tracer and this just gorgeous ball flight going dead straight and just falling off slightly to the right. And so it lands to 4 feet, but he needs to make a 4-foot putt with like a foot of break in it. And it's
crazy.
But
he doesn't think he needs to make it.
He doesn't even know. And so just an unbelievable shot. And I remember still seeing that. I looked it up today just to go see it again. I was like, yep, that's maybe even better than how I remembered it. So it was a combination of technology coming in, Dustin getting it, but also it helps so much too, because it makes his Masters mean more, right? And that was a junky Masters at 2020 in the mud and everything else, But now it means more because now he's got 2 majors because of it. But also say that leaderboard like was a mess with like Scott Piercy was like in the mix coming down at the end too. So when you're talking about clubs that have to put up for Oakmont, right? That's a big win for Oakmont too, to be able to put up Dustin Johnson as their champion than like Scott Piercy or some of those other guys that were in it, like Brendan Grace, Kevin Na, like there was a bunch of guys kind of in it. So I think that was a big moment. It ended up being big for his career too, and kind of sad he just disappeared. But
on the
No, I
heels
think
on the heels
that's
of what
an
happened
awesome.
at Chambers Bay the year before too, like 2015,
Yeah.
he 3 putts 18 to lose to Spieth. I mean, I should have 6 majors. Like, what are we doing?
It's
yeah.
it's funny.
So
Like, doesn't I think Oakwan obviously is like a tremendous test, but 2007 Tiger kind of kicked one away, and like one of the great shots was Angel, because that fairway on 18 was impossible to hit that year. I think it was 07 was when they had it at Oakwan previously.
with the Doc
And
Donhill.
and his drive on 18 sealed it against that. He beat Tiger. Like he was. I mean, people talk about Wai Yang, but Angel kind of went right up against him.
Then he went to jail.
Do you have a,
And then came back and playing in the Masters.
Yeah.
I think Jed's got another pick coming back here.
Yeah.
Is this his last one?
Hold on.
This is your last pick.
I will go. I'll go 2022. Scottie, his fourth putt on the green on 18 that he knocked in the
His
hole.
chip in was so good on the third hole. You could.
That's where I thought you were going. That's
He still wins by 3, I think. But that's a 4 putt, and that was like one of the longer putts that he had. Like if he misses that, he could have kept going back and forth for a while. So it was. I remember the 4 putt. Like I remember it being a 4 putt, but I went back to watch the progression of what it was. There's actually a key moment in it. So after he misses his third and it rolls back, so it's a 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Like it's not easy. The crowd, instead of being like, oh, like silent, they get up and they start like clapping, like everyone's laughing about it. And I think it broke the stress a little bit for him, and he was able to roll the next one in. But I don't know what happens if he's on there and he just, even if he wins, but say he's 6 putts or something crazy, like maybe it's not the same Scottie after that. So I think rolling in at that 4 putt, that was probably the max of what you want to do on that hole, be able to get it in. Then it kicks off his career.
I don't know how you can tell this in a more succinct way than I will, but how could you have back-to-back Masters champions
4 putt
that 4-putted back-to-back holes, like the 18th hole, the 72nd, and then the first hole the next year?
Yeah, I know.
Which Rahm 4-putted for double and then went on to win.
And the other thing about that 4 putt was the 4 putt, and also Scheffler then sharing afterwards that like he was like sobbing to his wife before, like that morning, and he wasn't sure if he could do it, and then so like in my mind I'm thinking, well, this might be the only major this guy wins, because he sounds like he might be a little bit of a head case, and this was just like his one. He chipped in on 3, he's kind of settled him down, but then he 4-putted the 18th hole, and he's talking about how he wasn't sure if he could do it, and then now he's Scottie Scheffler. But like I think it laid some doubt in some people's minds of like, this guy might just be a one-hit wonder here, and he's clearly not.
That was all part of the context too, right? And I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, we didn't know that until after, because he had played so well, but yeah, he was having a hard time, dealing with the thought of winning, which makes him human, right? So I think that's also why. I mean, I root pretty hard for Scottie for stuff like that, and I bet you I think he's going to win a bunch more majors, but I do think we see something like that at some point down the road, right? Because it's in there. Yeah, that was one that came to mind. I think that they'll kickstart just an unbelievable run of majors that we get to hopefully watch for a long time.
Berkey, what do you got?
All right, so that's it. I'm out.
You're out.
All right.
You're off the
clock.
clock.
Yep. All right, I feel good about that draft.
You can clear out the war room, clean up the sandwiches. You can all stand up and applaud whenever people do.
All right, so man, this might be my toughest pick. I'm really regretting picking Jimmy Walker with my first pick now.
It was good. It's good for content, though.
I'm actually going to end up picking like people I don't like for all of these picks, which is actually kind of crazy. Literally all of them. I'm going to go with what I think is, and Jed, I know you have been to this exact spot, and I still think it could be like the legitimate greatest shot ever hit. Like from not a luck standpoint, or like just the physical skill that it took for Bubba Watson to hit a hook shot in 2012 from the pine straw, in the right pine straw in the playoff. against Louis Oosthuizen. Like I've been down there, I've seen it. It's unfortunately since I went back, like I think it was there the year after, and then since then they said it's changed a little bit. Jed, you might have some, but like it is an obscene golf shot to hit on like a regular day, and then to do it in a playoff. I think it could be the greatest physical shot of all time under pressure. Like not from like so, Jed, like DJ shot into Oakmont is like an amazing shot, but people have that in their bag. I just don't. I'm still like in awe every day. Like it's just like it's a crazy shot, and it deserves to be on this list. And I just
So
it's crazy.
Like I had it as an honorable mention. And I debated it. I was for Dustin Johnson, his career, but sometimes I think sometimes when you're standing in the middle of the fairway, sometimes it's even harder because you have like the built-in excuse of like when you're in a crazy spot that you let it fly and try to hook it around. But that shot in itself, I think, is one of the greatest shots ever hit in major championship golf, because also like, will we ever see the ball curve that much again? I mean, maybe Bubba can still do it, but like, I don't know. And then like literally out and around. But I also think like, because we're doing most important, because that he has another Masters and everything else, like it really does, it makes it even more important. But yeah, it's one of the most unbelievable shots. Like, I love the camera work when it just goes up and then all of a sudden you see this ball just like coming and everyone's so shocked. Yeah.
I mean,
that's one.
What do you think it hooked? I mean, like 50 yards?
Yeah.
Which
I mean, it went out like an L. It just went out and then just like went.
And then went to like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like again,
like,
I know I don't. Bubba's not my favorite golfer by any stretch of the means. I do find myself, or especially when he came to TPC Boston, I did like make a point to go watch him just because of the curve that he puts on the ball, and it's just something that really no professional golfers do, and it's entertaining to watch. But that shot, again, like if it was in a practice round, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to fuck around and hit this shot. But like, no, he was in the playoff for the Masters and did it to win.
It's a great one.
Took another one from Louis. Right, that was Louis. Was Louis in that playoff?
It was Louis. Louis also made a 2 on the second hole that day.
Yeah,
so.
I know. Another shot I wrote down.
Like that, yeah. Like if he wins, right, and does other stuff, that would be that was in contention. But because he didn't win,
it just becomes like a cool thing. It's Sunday at 2:00. It doesn't quite make the leap. Burke, I'm surprised you didn't pick out Schwartzel's chip in on the first hole of the Masters. You talk about that every freaking year we do a Masters pod.
It's number 1 on my list. I'm not even joking.
You picked Jimmy Watt. You're like the Cleveland Browns.
It's
throwing
the best.
picks away.
It's so people talk about. I mean, if anyone has listened to me on this podcast, I talk about it's the most underrated shot of all time. It's just like in the gravity of things, the fact that it was Charles Schwartzel, and that, like, I don't know. I love that golf. I went back and watched it. I have it linked here. I watched it like 5 times.
Yeah, it's so good. It's
so
like
good.
He used like a flat-faced iron of some sort. I don't know if he's talking about what club it was.
The most loft. I don't know if he's ever said it, but there's no way it could have been more than a 7 iron.
Yeah.
If not like a 5.
Yeah, it looked like a 5 iron, like a kind of mid to long iron. I mean, it's so good all the way across that green.
Just after Rory and Angel had teed off, and again, the 2011, which was a great tournament in and of itself, with like 4 guys coming down the stretch, J-Day, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
But yeah, Schwartzel is just such a noob that I couldn't put him on.
Well, speaking of noobs, I'm gonna drop my last pick here. Guy just retired, long illustrious career, 30 years old. Mito Pereira's tee shot on 18 at the PGA Championship at Southern Hills is like it might be it might be one of the most important shots in this century. Dustin Thomas gets his second major. It kind of like just another little death blow to Will Zalatoris, who, like, the farther we get away from that summer of him at the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship, and like almost winning a few majors, and now his back's like, what an incredible shot to hit. And then like Mito Pereira leaves, goes to live, and decides like he doesn't want to play live golf anymore. He's just retiring from professional golf. Like, what a crazy set of things that were set into motion on that one.
So good.
Just horrendous tee shot I mean, so incredibly. I watched that this week. I mean, it is
And
incredibly bad.
You might have put that. Did you put that in the newsletter, Sean?
I did.
Or last week?
Yeah, because he retired, so I threw it in there.
I gasped at how bad that. Like, I remember it being terrible, but that finish, and the thing is, like, he goes so fast. Like, he goes up to hit that shot so fast. And it's if we can learn anything from these guys, like, don't be like Mito on 18. You know, like, he just steps up. That's the most scared off. It's tough to look at. But I think one of the things that was interesting, and you call it, it's like what that does for Justin Thomas, right? And in his career. And it's weird that we all found these bad shots that end up being the most important or most impactful, either for that player or where it helped someone else take off. That was crazy. That's a tough one.
I will say JT doesn't get enough credit for his shots that he hit in that playoff there. Like that drive that he hit on the par 4 was
another good short par 4 tee shot. Yeah, for sure. 16, I think.
And I forgot that Mito took himself out of the playoff too. It's not even just that he lost.
Double.
Yeah, he made a double.
Finishes third.
I mean, he could have made bogey from after hitting in that. Like the hazard was in the middle of the fairway. Like he could have.
Yeah. He had to take a tough drop, I feel like, and then hacked it up to the back of the green. Oh, it was a driver.
Like,
yeah,
and it was 3-wood all week, right? Like everyone was hitting 3-wood there. And...
Yeah. I mean, JT hit a shank on the 6th hole that final round, and just kind of like hung in there and deserves a ton of credit. But it he's got 2 majors. There's still PGAs, so there is still he's got to win something that's not a PGA. I personally think, but just If Justin Thomas,
somewhat disagree with you, Jed. Like, I don't know that did much for it. Obviously, being a multiple major winner, but the fact that it was the PGA and the way that it happened, I don't think anyone necessarily thinks of JT better or worse.
I don't think it impacts us, but like in the record books, it's a lot to have 2 majors versus 1 is a big difference, right?
No, I agree with you. Like,
and and that's the first where I went. And if he wins another one or something, now he's like really cooking. Like, what a bonus for. And
he's one shy of Spieth. Like he's one more, and he's tied with Jordan Spieth after all that talk in 15 and 17 about Spieth being the golden boy and like kind of blowing away the rest of his peers. We could be in a world where they retire with the same amount of majors if he gets one more, and maybe he will. Maybe he'll have one more like crazy week.
What do you mean, JT?
Yeah,
he could easily win another major.
Yeah, that's what I'm not saying easily for anybody except for maybe Scottie right now winning a major, and Michael Thorpe Bjornsson,
of course. But doesn't the JT thing? Isn't this also where he says like that Dick thing? The next was it at the Champions Dinner the next year where he's like thanks Mito or something for doing it for him? He's like, I should thank Mito for being here.
Yes,
I think you're right. I think you're
right. Now the guy's not like that. It's even a bigger dick comment now that the guy doesn't even play golf anymore. Like the moment forced him to retire. Justin's thanking him for joking.
That's a
good one.
That's a great closing hole too. I just think like wandering creeks just mess with pros if they're in the right areas, and that hole just it created it. I mean, JT talked about that, how hard that tee shot was. Was Steve Williams on his bag that week? Who was on his bag?
I guess
just his regular caddy. It was someone. He had someone like was Bones on his bag.
Yeah, I almost said Bones.
I think it was Bones.
Yeah,
it was not Stevie. That was stupid.
I kind of remember him walking like after he won, and maybe I think I kind of can see Bones walking there with him.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny how many we had the same.
There was another great Southern Hills moment too that I had on my list.
One of the missed putts. Was it?
Yeah, the Goosen Furyk sink.
Yeah,
sink 3 jacking.
That was a wild sequence of like 20 minutes. Just guys missing putts.
Wild.
What year was that? 2005? No, 2001.
3.
Yeah, that was Southern Hills has had a bunch of majors. You kind of forget another place you forget about. After all your Valhalla talk, no Valhalla picks for you, Berkey. I thought we're gonna get like Rory playing through on Phil, Alpha Dog.
I had that. I mean,
I had the tee shot on 18 when he fired it up their butts on trying to play through in the dark.
I mean, geez, we could do another podcast for honorable mentions, but the original Valhalla I had was Tiger's tee shot in the playoff that people still don't know whether one of the fans like threw it out, like when he runs backwards against Bob May.
Oh, the Zapruder film shot. That's right. The ball just comes out of just bounces down.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's a million fans around, and it's
Yeah.
in a bush, and then all of a sudden it's shooting. You have to go look at I had it up, but you have to go look at the video of where it just comes shooting out, and everyone's like, nothing happened, and this guy's like waving. He's like, I got it.
Yeah. That putt Tiger hit to force the playoff was also another like Torrey Pines like putt against Bob May. That putt was insane.
Bob May's putt was sick. Like that, again, you go back, and then Tiger's first putt in the playoff, the one where he does the point, the point going in.
Yep.
That was
and then
that was peak cheering for Bob May time.
Yeah.
I hated the point.
In that tournament, I wasn't gonna go like too esoteric, but he played with Jack Nicklaus in his last PGA for the first 2 rounds, and Jack had to make eagle on the last hole. You have to go look up the shot, and he literally from the fairway, I think it was like 120 yards, left it like on the lip to make the cut, and everyone was going bananas. Like it was a ceremonial thing, and of course he was like, "Yeah, got to make it." That's very underrated.
Yeah. Another one I had on my list just to do some honorable mentions was that bunker shot Tiger hit at Carnoustie in 18 was very much like I'm back. It was on the 10th hole.
10? Yeah.
He got I think he got the lead and then he made a double coming like maybe the next hole or on 12. But I remember him hitting that shot and thinking like, "Oh my God, he is back. He's healthy. He can hit a really hard shot and he's whatever he was, 45, 44." Yeah, that was another one I had on my honorable mention. Jed, what do you got?
No, he wasn't even that. It was 2000. Oh yeah.
It was 18 because he won in 19, won the Masters in 19.
We literally hit almost all mine one way or the other. I did have, it's not most, the Matthew Fitzpatrick bunker shot 18 at Brookline. And I think that's there's more like of a personal connection for us just because as that week was going on, I was really hoping it was going to be a memorable US Open or a good US Open, just because it's in our backyard and, we were able to go to it and soak up the atmosphere. So the fact that ended in a cool style with an awesome golf shot that we'll remember. I had that one on the honorable mention.
Anyone have Phil just batting his putter, just chasing down the ball and slapping it at Shinnecock?
No, I didn't have that one. I mean, I remember.
I just read the Shibnock book. I didn't want any Phil, really.
So I had Phil. I had I thought the 2004 Masters was one of the in the moment was like just an amazing Masters. Like you're watching it as a relatively young kid. Like I thought that was amazing.
Did you have the putt on 18, or would you have as the?
I had the putt on 18.
Have you watched the aftermath of that? That like he makes the putt and then the walk he makes up to scoring. Like they do a better job now of like following, but. That scene was insane after he won.
It was a mob shot. Everyone was rooting for him.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
It was awesome to watch back.
I do find some absolutely not correlated symmetry between, Phil breaking his drought and then the Red Sox winning like later that year in October. I don't know. Sunk in my mind. This is more of a moment than a shot, which is where I was sort of. I do think after Hideki won in 2021, his caddy like bowing to the course is like one of the coolest things. Totally unplanned, like not scripted at all. Some photographer just gets the shot.
Yep.
Like I think that's one of the great golf photos of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that will live on forever.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like when I just did the screen grab of all the major winners and like what's the first thing that came to mind when you looked at one of those tournaments, right? Or any of them. The Hideki win was definitely one of the ones. I just honestly I didn't know enough of the shots off the top of my head to have it qualify, but that moment and everything else is definitely one of the best moments.
And that was it. The last round was kind of bland. His third round was where he really like kind of grabbed
after the delay.
Correct. Yeah. The Y Yang chip in 2009. That was like the beginning of the end for Tiger. Who knew? Like 2 months later, all hell would break loose.
Yeah, there's a couple good quotes I got from that. But Tiger was talking about like he stuffed one on 13 and missed the putt, and Yang made birdie on 13, and then Yang chipped in on 14, and it was like he just like 2 blows to the chin that kind of I don't think people like that little 2-hole segment there. Tiger talking about like that was it. That was the moment.
Like 50-footer that Henrik Stenson rolled in to win the British. That was unbelievable. That battle in that stretch, I think that was a final round that doesn't quite get its due for whatever reason. But when we talk about like just memories that popped, I think that the year that Phil wore that stupid like paperclip thing, remember, on his hat to like make sure it fit.
Yes.
And he played all week with like the
it's like the binder clip, not even the paper. The
binder clip on his hat. Like that's the random stuff that popped in my mind when I was going back through this.
Cam Smith putting around the road hole bunker in 22 is another one I had written down.
If he doesn't disappear off the planet.
One.
Yeah.
I just have Rory making pars every single hole on that round. I can't believe you didn't have anything from this past Masters shot.
I know. I mean, listen, you got to zag sometimes.
Fraud. I thought, again, this was more when we were talking about moments. I think the 2002 U.S. Open at Bethpage was a huge moment for golf. Like the fact that it was a public golf course. You know, I remember Tiger winning, but there wasn't like a seminal shot, I think, at that U.S. Open.
The weather was the story.
I do think it was really important for the way that we thought about golf, like from a public access perspective. I think that was a pretty good one. Nobody mentioned Tiger's chip in 2005 at the Masters. I actually had DeMarco's chip on my list on 18 that lipped out, that would have won him that exact Masters after Tiger went bogey on 17 and 18 after chipping on 16.
That was the first shot I wrote down.
It was such a fun exercise because, there's the shots that you remember, but then trying to calculate it back towards its overall importance, either in that tournament or for their career. Then all of a sudden I saw stuff flying down the board.
Yep. Yeah.
Another random one I had was David Tom's hole-in-one 2001 Atlanta Athletic Club on Saturday. That thing was rocketing off the green, hits the 5-wood flagstick, and he ends up, and then on Sunday ends up getting up and down on 18 to beat Mickelson by 1. But yeah, he's like he hits. I have that on video. Hits this 5-wood that like hits the middle of the flagstick, drops right back down. Unbelievable! Like wins the tournament by 1. It's like crazy.
I had that, but because he was a great player, and his swing at that time was like a model golf swing. Like people used to teach that move, and then
you can't teach it now.
You can't teach it. So that's where I didn't do. I literally had it on the board. And I took it off because it just became not that important because he didn't do much after, and then like the whole game changed, and that swing you don't even see it.
But he's thought of, and Mickelson had not won a major at that point, but David Toms is now a major winner, which is way more important to just be a major winner than not. And it's also a crazy shot, and like his up and down, I don't know, kind of a sneaky good major, although another good one at Atlanta Athletic a couple years later.
Jordan Spieth has 2 18th hole tee shots. Balloons popping up.
What was that?
I don't know. It just reacted to my putting my 2 fingers up, I guess. The 18th shot at St. Andrews in 2015, where he like pull hooks it up against a post and ends up making par and not being in that 3-man playoff on a Monday with Zach Johnson, Leishman, and Oosthuizen. Was it Oosthuizen? Zach Johnson ends up winning. We were very close to Spieth winning the first 3 majors of the 2015 year. And then there was the year, I can't remember what year it was off the top of my head, where he was like incandescent at the Masters. Was that 16, 17? And he was going to shoot 63 and he clips the tree on 18.
It was
later?
The year Patrick Reed won.
It was 18.
Yeah.
Hits the tree and just kind of like goes from possibly shooting 63 to I think he made bogey and shot 65.
I think he was like birdie for 61 or 62 or something.
Yeah.
it was like low, and he might have made a double. Or, like it was bad on the last. Like he had to take an unplayable right off the tee.
Yeah, because he hit that. I mean, he hit a tree like 10 yards off the tee box. Those are two ones that like butterfly effect, especially 15.
I mean, obviously Rory's tee shot on 10 in 2011. Like that's
well, especially where you see like dead left that would have to go.
So Jed, and I've told both of you this, but I went in 2012, and the first thing I did was go to the tee on 10. I just asked the marshal. We were there like super early in the morning. I was like, "Hey, where did Rory's tee shot hit?" And he pointed to a place that I'm like, "No,
It's like right there. It's like right.
it's like there." And he's like, and the marshal, great guy. He was just like, "I've been doing this for 20 years. Like I watch every single tee shot that comes off here, and that is exactly where it went." And I was like, man, he almost kind of got lucky to even get through as far as he did on his tee shot.
So I've got some.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
I've got some Instagram ones people shared.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
oh,
we got Matty Fitz, which we talked about. We got Bubba Watson's hook shot. John Rahm, we didn't talk about him at all. This person just mentioned both birdie putts at Torrey that he hit. I'd say the one on 7.
Talk about Rahm or Koepka.
I know. Those two. Rory's approach on the 19th hole on Sunday. Spieth's quad on 12. Tiger's birdie on 16 in 2019 when he almost made a hole in one.
Good one.
Zach Johnson tee box practice swing.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
When we talked about moments, that was like literally one of the ones I thought about.
But Rory, like the beauty of Rory's Masters this past year is that, I mean, you could choose his chunk on 13 as a moment, or his, the fact that his ball hung up on 11 as a moment.
Yeah, he had like
just
7 or 8 shots you could pick just from that round.
So
yeah, the shot on 7, the shot on 11, 13, 15, 17. Yeah, it's crazy.
7, yeah. God,
yep.
That was a good one.
Yep. 3. I mean, he talked on Shotgun Start about that birdie on 3 being like maybe the most pivotal moment for him as well.
Sure, but he also birdied 4.
I know.
You don't birdie 4.
Yeah. Bryson's shot at Pinehurst. We did not talk about either, which is
I had it on there. But you might have some subconscious live bias. We did good on Dustin.
Yeah. I also think that shot is different if he has to get up and down to force a playoff. I think there's there's something a little different.
It's still so good.
Oh, it's awesome.
I mean,
it's awesome. I just think the dynamic is a little different. He's got at least a little bit of life if he makes bogey from there versus having to make a par.
Rory also hit driver off that tee, which was idiotic.
Yeah. Did they both hit driver? Didn't Bryson hit driver?
Yeah, but Bryson was hitting
everywhere,
driver all over the place.
All right. Any last thoughts?
I'm trying to see if I didn't mention anything on my list. Yeah, the Valhalla one, the Ricky. Yeah, we mentioned that one. There's just so much.
I have Phil's bunker shot at Kiowa that he holed out on. It might have been like early in the round there, and that just felt like one of those. Oh, he's gonna win! He's gonna win this. For me. That was the first moment.
Oldest major champ, like 51.
He was 50 at the time. 50, he was about to. 50? Yeah, turned 50 in that June, I think. But just a crazy shot. That's the only one from that tournament that stood out to me.
So, honestly, I think I didn't pick some of the Brooks stuff because he got worked so hard at Kiowa. Like Phil played him and outmaneuvered him with different tactics and stuff, right? And I don't know. That was.
And his Oak Hill PGA was like kind of boring.
So was his Bethpage PGA.
Yeah. The most famous thing about Oak Hill PGA is Michael Block.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Well, at Bethpage, it was when they were cheering against him, right? I don't even remember the shots, but I just remember that pissed him off and he got fired up and won.
He was like 8 shots ahead. I mean, they were just rooting for something to happen.
Yeah.
It was tight. Yeah.
Yeah. DJ made it a little bit fun at the end there, but
right. Yeah.
I think it was more Brooks. So yeah, whatever. But
when he comes back to the PGA Tour, we'll get to know him better.
Because he was such a presence on he was such a presence on the PGA Tour before.
That's a good point.
Right, so we don't we don't need to devolve this into the Brooks, but he will gladly take a year suspension and be like, I'm good. Like that, it is like the perfect situation for them. They need to suspend him for a year, which is probably what he wants.
Yeah.
And everyone saves face.
Yep.
Like that's it.
And it's not even a year. It's August. Like that, it's going to be. He's going to play
like the PGA Tour.
He's going to play the majors.
Yeah.
He's going to play once a month from April till July, and then August he'll be off the list and he'll be playing golf again. Like no one starts playing golf at this point until April. A lot of these guys.
It's not that complicated. Yeah. It's just not that complicated. And by the way, you're a 5-time major winner. You have a lifetime exemption anyway. Like you're on the tour next year.
Yeah,
like,
you're fine. Yeah. Maybe go play some DP World stuff or just hang out at home.
He wouldn't want to play the prerequisite amount of tournaments that are required to get you into like the next year's schedule anyway.
Yeah. What a character.
It's also full circle because he started on that low-level European tour.
Yeah,
right?
Challenge
like,
Tour.
That was his whole thing. Yeah.
That's where he went. I'll have to go back.
Is his brother even still on Live?
Oh, I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't really care though. So
I think that's when he like started souring. He's like, well, they're not paying my brother $1 million a year to be the worst player on this tour. Let's bring in Anthony Kim.
Yeah, wild. All right, well, that was fun. 90 minutes.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
90 minutes. We got 15.
Right.
And
good to be on with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jed. Thanks, Berkey.
Thanks, guys.
See you, boys. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.